As a mindset coach, I work with clients to overcome their biggest obstacle, which I've found to oftentimes be themselves. In the past week, I've helped 3 different entrepreneurs and a group of 25 real estate investors overcome limiting beliefs. And what they've each told me is their biggest obstacle is themselves. I helped a local pastor, investor, and agent who is facing fear of judgment on getting on social media and making an impact because he thought people were going to see, oh man, I'm just trying to show off and I'm just trying to self-glorify. He's a man of God. He's trying to push the word of God. And I know him personally. That's not who you are. And so he's like, but there's a 8 billion, person audience, Tony. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But 8 billion people won't see your content. You're making content for the same people that you're already making content for. The people that are in your church or people that are in your groups, those are the people you're making content for. And those are the same types of people that are going to watch your content on social media. I had a second guy who was struggling with perfectionism and wanted to have all the control. And so he's at a point in his business where he can start to scale and start to hire. But he didn't want to lose control because he feels like no one else can do it as good as him. So he worked through that. He's now having a conversation with one of his contractors and I'm probably transitioned her to full time. I worked with a third guy who was facing shiny object syndrome. He has typically a ticket of $10,000 to $50,000, but he had $1 million project that he could take on and it would boost the business in the short term, but it also risked him losing his entire business that's been around for almost 7 years and has been growing at 30% year over year the last 3 years doing these smaller projects. And so it reminded me of like the tortoise and hare. You want to be the hare and go get that $1 million contract, but then get distracted, lose. Meanwhile, you could have been the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. And then I gave a presentation to a group of 25 real estate investors who are facing procrastination. And I remember this vividly in my own journey. Before I started my real estate investing company, I faced severe procrastination. And the reason why was because I wanted to be a perfectionist. And so what I found is each one of these people are getting in their own way, and that is their issue. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get out of your own way like I have and pursue your purpose, your calling, and achieve your potential. And so if that sounds good, the first step is you have to identify, what are you afraid of? I tell my clients, like, okay, down the worst case scenario. And I was talking to one of my clients the other day. He said, well, maybe I get a bad review. Maybe I have to refund the money. And I'm like, okay, and what's going to happen? This is one client, $1,500, cool. And then what's going to happen? What is the worst thing that's going to happen? You have to identify, you have to name it. And like, if you're on social media, is it a random person that's going to see your content that's going to belittle you? Or is it Sandra that you're scared of? Name it. And then you'll see how silly it is to get in our own way because we're afraid of Sandra or afraid of refunding $1,500, right? And then the second step is that you have to look at what is the worst case scenario. Play it out. What did that look like? I told my client the other day, he said, yeah, you have to refund, I might get a bad review. I'm like, dude, take it even further. They call up your next 6 months of clients, they call them all up and you're like, hey, this company is awful, man. Like, if I can give you one piece of advice, do not work with them. And in the 6 months cancels. And then what is going to happen? Play it out. Because oftentimes that sounds dramatic. Oftentimes, even the worst case scenario is not as bad as we thought. So take the risk. And the third step is leap. Take the action. Just do it. We can talk and we can set up mindset shifts and we can get actionable strategies. But at the end of the day, you have to just take the action. Talking about it, you're just talking about it, but changing anything, then your circumstances will always be the same. You won't scale the business. You will not make a bigger impact. And you definitely will not achieve your potential unless you take the leap. And the fourth step is repeat this cycle. After it becomes a repetition, not something that, man, I'm so afraid. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm so fearful of Sandra. How silly does that sound, right? But that's how we get in our own minds. And so once you get over that fear and you start taking that leap and you do that time and time again, guess what? This answer no longer exists. So those are the four steps towards getting out of your own way that I've used to go from running in circles to making over 6 figures within 6 months. And so if you enjoyed this video, I invite you to join our free leadership community where we go over in-depth strategies just like this to break through your mindset barriers and achieve your potential. It's called the Reborn Pack, and I will leave the link for you in the description below. One of my team members will accept you if we think you're a good fit. And then immediately upon joining, you can book a one-on-one free strategy session with me where we will go over where you're at, where you want to be, and create a personalized action plan for you. If that sounds good, I'll see you inside, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.